I might not come off this way, I don't know, but just general anxiety and overthinking is something that I've really had to work on. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new around here, my name is Jillz and I talk about things like feminine energy, self-improvements, and wellness for women. So if that's something you want to learn more about, be sure to hit the red subscribe button below, as well as the notification bell so you don't miss when I put out any new videos. So I was going to do a video about something completely different this week, but I last minute changed my mind because I have been kind of just dealing with a lot all at once, and it's nothing bad, it's just a lot. And I have found myself going down that overthinking rabbit hole. And I am someone who's very prone to overthinking and just general anxiety and all that kind of stuff. So I've learned over the years what has helped me and what hasn't, and the things that I can do to kind of help manage and navigate this. You know, I'm someone who's very prone to mental chatter, so it feels much more genuine and authentic and just aligned to talk about how I stop myself from overthinking, because these are the exact practices that I am putting into my life right now. And I don't even really have an outline for this, I'm just gonna kind of keep it casual. So let's talk about how I stop myself from overthinking. But just keep in mind that some of these, tips or pieces of advice might be much more relevant to you than others depending on what you're dealing with. So as always, take what resonates and leave the rest. So the first thing always is to bring awareness to this overthinking and mental chatter. Obviously we know what's going on, we can feel it, we can hear it, but a lot of times we're so wrapped up in it that we don't understand the full extent of what's going on. And when we're so wrapped up in it, when we basically are our thoughts, when we are one with our thoughts, then it is impossible to escape them. So separate your body and your soul from your thoughts, and see your thoughts from like a third-party perspective. See them from an outsider's perspective. A lot of times you can't really realize how much you're overthinking and also how silly those thoughts are until you kind of separate yourself from them, take a step back and look at them purely for what they are. So this is where I like to start. Bring awareness to these thoughts, separate yourself from these thoughts, because you can't really fix anything or improve anything if you're not fully aware. So once you bring awareness to these thoughts, I encourage you to start challenging these thoughts and kind of logic it out. Because sometimes when we overthink, maybe it does make logical sense, but most of the time it doesn't. Like if you actually just take a step back, look at your thoughts from a third party and analyze it from a logical perspective, no emotion involved or anything, you can see that it doesn't usually make much sense, or at least that it's not very helpful or solution oriented. Now when it comes to overthinking, there's usually a lot of emotion involved in that, and I think it's important to honor these emotions, and I'll get to that in a second. But this can help you, at least this really helps me, to kind of prevent myself from going so quickly down into that overthinking spiral. So try challenging your thoughts, try proving yourself why you might be wrong, or why it's kind of silly or unnecessary to worry about what you're worrying about. Now, like I said, it's important to honor your emotions, because a lot of times with overthinking, like I said, it doesn't make logical sense, but there are a lot of heavy emotions involved underneath. And so when you can bring awareness to this and start bringing those to the surface, that's what's gonna actually help. So one thing that can be really helpful is journaling. Just allow yourself some time to sit and write a few pages nonstop. Just keep writing and see what comes to mind. And eventually, after you've written a few pages, a lot of times the real emotional underlying reason will come straight out, jump right out to you, and you'll start to understand what is actually going on. Just writing with no judgment and see what comes up. And a lot of times this is what will bring that clarity, and this will allow you to acknowledge the feelings that you're feeling and not just completely disassociate from them. I don't think it's a good idea to just try to completely disassociate from your thoughts, because they're there for a reason. Journaling is just a really easy way to help you bring you back to yourself and bring yourself more clarity and understand what's actually really going on, and honoring those feelings. So now that you have acknowledged those emotions and honored that, I think it's a good idea to put your attention to something else, kind of distract yourself in a healthy way. When we get caught in that overthinking trap, one of the best ways for me to kind of get out of it is to ground myself, center myself, do something, actually go do something that's gonna help me do that. Usually that's a workout or a walk outside or hanging out with friends or playing with my dogs in the backyard, and just kind of taking a step back and distracting myself for a second can help me come back and realize that what I was thinking about and worrying about is actually quite small. Basically, just do whatever it is that will get your mind off of that thing and kind of help you to pull you out of that loop. You know, for some people it might be painting or going for a really long run or even cleaning your house. You know, there are so many healthy things that we can put our attention to instead, and it can help redirect our attention to something more positive. The point of this is not to just disassociate, but it's to kind of temporarily distract yourself to get yourself out of that loop, that constant loop and that spiral. The intention is to center yourself and ground yourself and bring you back to yourself. So once I start realizing that I'm getting caught in this overthinking trap and I've honored the underlying emotions underneath, then I try to redirect my attention. Now, another thing that's really helpful is to take a step back and kind of just look at the big picture, because truthfully, a lot of the stuff that we get caught up in and start overthinking on is actually quite small and quite insignificant. You know, not always. Sometimes we're overthinking about big life decisions, but most of the time it's pretty small. And if you actually look back on all the times that you did overthink in the past several years, to be honest, I can't even remember them except for the few, like 2 or 3 times that were actually important life decisions. Everything else I don't even remember because it wasn't even that relevant. There's this quote I really like, you guys have probably heard it, and it goes something like, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, then don't spend more than 5 seconds thinking about it. And this is something that I have to constantly remind myself of and realize that in the big picture, in the grand scheme of life, the things that I'm usually overthinking on are usually not really that important. And lastly, this is probably the most important thing. I think I've said a lot of things are important, but especially when it comes to like bigger decisions and things like that, or some things that are really tough, the biggest thing for me is to trust. Basically, trust that someone, something out there, or the universe, or whatever, is helping me and guiding me and is pushing me along the path of my highest good and is helping me to become my most aligned and fruitful self. You know, when things happen, when things cause us major stress, maybe we go through a breakup or whatever, I like to believe that a lot of times it's the universe, God, whatever you want to believe, it does not matter, but that the universe is guiding me in the right direction, and that it's actually just realigning me to where I need to go and where I'm supposed to go. And because I have that trust in something greater than myself, it helps me to surrender a bit and lean back and be a little bit more understanding of the situations that I'm in. When I look back on my life, every single time I've gone through something hard or, you know, difficult or challenging, and I've had a lot of anxiety and overthinking about it, 100% of the time, it has led me to becoming a better human. It has aligned me and put me on the path that I have meant to go on. And this might not make sense for every situation that you're overthinking about, but when I do start to overthink, I like to remember that I have trust in whatever it is. I have trust in my life, my world, that things are gonna work out. I know that they will. Basically, remembering the fact that I am being divinely guided, whether that is with small things or big things. This little bit of trust and reassurance goes a long way. And the more that I trust, the more that I surrender, the more that I am proven time and time again that there is something out there, someone, something that is guiding me and supporting me and helping me along in my path, and that everything will be okay. And like I said, I am in the thick of this right now, or more so a few days ago, I was really starting to ruminate and overthink about everything. And these practices have really helped me. They usually always help me. And I keep in mind that some of these practices might be more relevant than others depending on the situation or what you're thinking about and what you're worrying about. But I hope that they are helpful for you just like they've been helpful for me. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit the like button. They are free and they help me out a ton. You might also want to subscribe below if you haven't already. Maybe check out these videos as well. Besides that, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.